Test, test, can you hear me? Hello. Test, test, can you hear me? Okay, I can hear myself. That's good. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Whew. Alright, today we are, doing more mechanism stuff. This time I have, a specific, reference image that I'm going to be working off of. I'm not showing it because it's kind of spoilery to what place this all is kind of going to, but I have some reference images of various machinery bits from a piece of concept art, and I am going to try and replicate some of those shapes as best as I can, for the general sake of replicability. So yeah, we're going to start off with a cylinder, because of course we are. And I'm going to try and keep this stream short so that it ends a bit before Carl's Riven stream theme, which I played some Riven music at the beginning here. Yeah. Weird gear thing. Because yes, this is going to be a very weird gear. I'm going to start off with, actually, let me think here. Oh yeah, no, that works. That works for a start. I need to select these two faces, extrude, scale on the Z-axis. Yeah, there we go. It's going to be our central bolt for this gear. And I'm going to scale this out like so. Yeah, that's too, that was too, yeah, let me try and level that out as best I can. Yeah, that'll do. Let me check my concept art here. Yeah, okay, that'll do for my central bit. So, the next thing that I'm going to do is duplicate these. Yay! And then I'm going to scale them out. And yes, that is actually going to be thinner, but that's just because I'm going to scale this out furthermore. I'm trying to make sure this is roughly in proportion with itself. And I'm going to flip the direction of those. And we have an inner wheel. Then I'm gonna just repeat that again. Actually, no, actually. Yeah, actually, okay, I'm gonna duplicate these again. These are gonna flip direction. I'm gonna scale these out, scale them down. Yeah, so you can kind of see where we're going with this shape already. This is gonna be one of those gears with sort of a flywheel shape to it. And we're gonna do the same thing that we were doing before, where we select a bunch of faces, face, triangulate, and we're just gonna fill in these gaps. Nope, that was the wrong piece. Boop. And yeah, don't worry about, that was the wrong face. Don't worry about the non-triangulated faces. We will sort those out in short order. Come on. There we go. Yeah, basically we're just gonna create a big old gear here. And once I have this outward shape, this outward ring shape, I'm going to... yeah. Well, you can guess what I'm going to be doing. Because I've probably... Because I think I've shown this before. Nope. That was too... Yep, that screwed up. That screwed up. You gotta make sure... Nope. Gotta make sure you're hitting the right faces. Okay. And then I'm gonna try and... No, I'm not gonna triangulate that just yet. Because what we now have to do is kind of tricky. Well, I've got a few different gear shapes, but I'm gonna stick to what I think is probably going to be... So no, most of these have the exact same gear shape to them. I'm just looking at it weirdly because it's... Okay, yeah. Okay. So what we have here that I'm going to be doing is a gear with a sort of five-sided support structure. I'm going to select these faces here. I'm going to extrude them outward, scale by the x-axis, extrude outward, scale by the x-axis. And you'll notice that I'm definitely going to need to make sure these line up properly. So, x-axis. Yeah, I'm going to delete those faces. I'm going to delete those faces, and then we're just gonna do what we did elsewhere. And yeah, this is gonna look very funky for the moment, but that's fine because we are going to okay, so that looks a little weird, admittedly, but that's going to be fine. We're just going to select these bits, scale them by the z-axis, then we're going to select these bits, scale them by the x-axis. Yeah, I'm going to select these two and scale those by the x-axis. You scale those by the x-axis. The goal here is to kind of create this sort of curved shape. I'm just mainly I'm realizing that's just too much work to do manually. I'm going to try a specific trick here. And that trick is going to be... I'm going to go to Mesh, Clean Up. I'm going to make it... No, that didn't do anything. Okay, Mesh, Clean Up. How do I... Normals? Nope. Okay, that isn't gonna do what I wanted it to do. Okay, so I'm just gonna try to do a different thing then. I'm gonna risk hitting the smooth vertex. Ooh. Oh, hello. I like that. I like that. That gives it a nice little mechanical detail. And then, because I did that once, what I can do is grab these. There we go. And then, I'm going to duplicate it. RZ90. Yep. We're going to just... I clearly did not get these equally meshed because you can tell that they're not lining up right. I clearly did not get this gear even because it's not lining up correctly. But that's fine. Faces. Okay. Yeah, that'll do. Okay. Yep. So, yep. Now we're gonna select these faces. Doop, 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 doop. Okay. Now we're going to duplicate that again. We're gonna pull this down here. RZ45. And no. Let's try RZ50. No. RZ55? That's close enough that I can eyeball it. Yeah. That will have to do. Delete faces. So let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Ugh. Yeah. Now, what I'm gonna do is select both of these arms before I connect them to the rest of the thing. Okay. Need to select those. Okay, that's all those. Okay. Okay. We're going to duplicate this once again. Now we're going to mesh mirror on the what? Nope. We're going no. We're going to mesh mirror on the X global. There we go. I'm going to need to recalculate and flip directions. There we go. And now we basically have... Yay. Let's look at that for a moment. We now basically have a 5-pointed wheel, which is a little bit of a weird shape, but that's what it looks like in the concept art, and I want to be at least a little bit stylistically consistent. Admittedly, some of these gears look a little weirdly warped, but that's probably just because it's concept art perspective, so they're good. We are good with that, I think. So now we get to do the fancy bit of connecting these planes. Which is always a fun bit to do because we get to just fill in gaps. And by filling in gaps, we get to make sure that that is actually all connected. This would be one of those things that if you were to be 3D printing this, you would also be wanting to make sure that your planes are all connected, because if you have gaps, then your 3D print is likely to well, that's clearly not lined up correctly. Boop. Boop, boop. Boop, 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 boop. Which means also my other gear is not lined up correctly either. Which means I want to fix that before I merge its faces. Boop. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. So now I'm going to grab our Y bit here. I'm going to pull it down. Okay, does that look... That looks straight enough for me. I'm going to work with that. Okay. Is anyone chatting? No one's chatting yet. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I understand that this is probably not the most engaging kind of video content. But we'll just have to tooth it out. Make sure we don't have any kinds of, you know, misalignment. Make sure things are as well oiled as possible. Yeah, I don't want to rip the selected frame. I want to create the face, not rip. Don't know what rip is. That was not what I wanted. Fortunately, I'm only going to model this particular gear once, because once I have it modeled, it just means I can have this copy-pasted, be resized however I want, as long as I keep the gear ratios the same. I think that should at least visually look consistent. Because again, this is about just trying to be stylistically consistent with the concept art. Okay. That appears to be every gap in this thing. Okay, I'm gonna triangulate this. And now I'm gonna go to my tools and I'm gonna hit subdivide. Which, yeah, gives us a whole lot of bits and bobs to work with. So yeah, what exactly is our gear tooth pattern going to be? Well, boop, boop. We're just gonna select faces and alternate every other tooth. This has got to be kind of precise, because if we don't, If we make a mistake here, our gear ratio is going to be off, and it's going to look weird. No. Although I will probably do that face bit later, but not for now. Question is going to be, am I doing this alternating pattern right? Or do I have enough? Yay! We have a perfect set of gears. Yay, okay. I was worried there for a moment that wasn't going to work out. Okay, so I'm just going to do what we did before, though I'm going to hit face first, and then I'm going to hit extrude, scale, pull it outwards, and then I'm just going to shrink those down, and then yeah. But see, now comes the tough part because they are all, yeah, they're all kind of narrowed. Yeah. Which means I have to figure out how the heck I'm gonna narrow these without screwing it up. Oh. I just had an idea. I'm gonna hit smooth vertex. I'm just gonna keep hitting smooth vertex until those are... Yeah. Yeah, that looks great. That looks great. And then, because of our triangulation, I just noticed we have big flat squares right there on the ends of our round bits. And what better way for a gear to latch onto a thing than having a big old square thing? Actually, hold on. If I push that inward a bit, ooh, yeah, that could look nice. Yeah, I think I'll go with that. So yeah, now we have a big old giant gear. Oh. And that means if we're just gonna duplicate this real quick, and we're gonna check to see if I got my gear ratios right. Do these match? I'd say that's a believable amount of match. What do you think? Yeah, I think that's a believable amount of match. Okay, so we've got two big, giant cogwheel gears. Now then, did I close my concept art? I did close my concept art. Why did I do that for? Okay, so I've got 2 big giant gears. Yeah, that's gonna be our, rotation and scale. Okay, we've got an upright gear and a sideways gear, and if I pull this up, well, this should still line up, I think. Oh, no, I have to do it from this side. Hey, perfect. Okay, I'm reasonably happy with that. I am very considerably happy with that. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That looks nice. It's got that nice machined vibe to it. Okay, so next thing on my to-do list is to build some big giant tanks. I'm gonna start with this as a reference because this does not need to be parented. There we go. Okay. I'm going to start with this, and I'm going to... Actually, no, not just yet. I'm not going to select all of that just yet. Okay, so we're going to select all of this. Select this and this. We're going... Actually, yeah, I'm just gonna... No. I'm gonna start with this. I'm gonna start with this inner tube, and then I'm gonna continue on with these sections on the ends. I might be able to get away with keeping the support arms on there, I think. So if I... Make sure I'm getting that. Okay. Nothing missing. Okay. Well, I'm going to scale these outward. And then that just looks weird, so I'm going to select just the inner bits here. And I'm going to scale that on the y-axis. I'm going to scale that again, scale that on the y-axis. Yeah, that looks like a big ol' storage tank sort of thing. I'm gonna level that out. Gives that more of a barbell shape to on things. And then I'm going to extrude scale Y. I'm gonna shrink those down. Again, I'm gonna just scale them. I'm gonna try and dome this as best as I can. But then again, I do kind of like how that looks with that ring bit around the edge. So I think I'll stick with that. Okay, yeah, that works. Yeah, and then I'm gonna level this out a bit. Make it a little more physically different from... Make it a little more physically different on the supports here from our starting tank. Nope, I don't want to select that face. I want to select that and that. That and that. There we go. Yeah, there we go. So this is generic tank, barbell, generic tank, holding. And then I'm just going to scale this up to a much more massive size. And yeah. A rotation and scale. And I have no idea how big this thing is going to end up being in relation to this, so I'm not going to create a big old connection between them, but I think this, yeah, that could be a good little tank thing, yeah. Generic tank holding. Yeah, that'll do. So, now to create a big old box for it to sit on. Create cube. Okay. Yeah, okay, that looks all right. Don't know exactly what this thing is in the concept art, but it is generically what it is. So, I will leave that up to the generic box thingy. Okay, I like the look of that. Yeah, okay, so okay. Yeah, okay. I'm going to extrude that outward. I'm going to pull that backwards a bit. This could be a generic box wall thing. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, okay, that looks all right. That looks cool. I may also reuse parts of this for, again, the overflow station, because I kind of want them to share similar, you know, like, these are just generic prefab structures. Yeah. At least generic structure layouts. Then I'm just going to triangulate that, because why not? Actually, no, I'm going to rename that generic castle buttress wall. Yeah, just generic castle wall. Yeah, that'll do for that. And now we're going to build a generic cube thing. perfectly generic, cuboid. We're going to scale that up. Scale that out. I'm going to select just the edges of this. Just the edges. And then we're going to extrude, scale, and then bring them in with the z-axis. Make sure the top lid has a... Ooh, actually. These are... stackable. Yeah, these will be stackable crates. Generic stackables. And they can be low poly because, yeah, perfectly generic stackable. And we'll duplicate. And does it match? Does it match? Just barely enough room in there for it to be believably stacked, I think. Yeah. That'll do. That'll do for that. And then these can just be generic building parts that can be all... Ooh, yes, that's a good idea. I should also do that down here. I should select all of these. What the? There we go. And Okay, I think, yeah, that's looking pretty good. Prad remarks, looks great so far. Thank you. Yes, it is very great. Looking more at my concept art, I think I need to model some flat platforms. Generic tubing, maybe? Although, I could trust the person I'm doing these assets for to build their own pipes. I mean, to conform to the area, because I don't know exactly how all of this is going to go together. I'm thinking I'm going to do one more set of gears based on large. Yeah, I'm gonna modify this a little bit more. I'm gonna do one that's a little different, which is, I know, kind of ironic, because I just spent all that time building the last version. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to mesh, clean up, and I'm going to hit decimate geometry, and then I'm going to hit clean up, limited dissolve, which is going to make our mesh a whole lot simpler to work with. I mean, look at that. That's positively, Simon Says-y. Yeah. Of course, the hard part is still going to be selecting all the faces on all the little gear tooth notches to make sure it's all still in alignment. But yeah, that simplify and the degenerate dissolve and the limited dissolve tools are very helpful to simplify your geometry after you've had it complicated up like I had it. Because sometimes you really do not need a mesh to be super complicated in Uru. You really don't, I mean, in any video game, really, you don't need it to be so complicated that it has more, that your sandwiches have more vertices than, than your entire character models, right? You can trust the textures to convey a lot with regards to models. I watched a cosplay video recently where someone was cosplaying a character from Zenless Zone Zero. And they had access to the 3D models for that particular character. And that character, I think her name's Grace. Yeah, Grace Howard, her name was. And she has a big old nail gun sort of thing as a weapon prop. But when you look at it in the game with the textures on it, it looks really, really detailed and really, really complicated. But when you just look at the actual mesh without any of the textures on it, it is really, really simple, actually, of a mesh. So much so that all of the imagined detail on it is, basically just the exterior planes with just textural detail on it, giving the impression of extra depth that isn't physically there in the model. Another example of that is Portal 2's turrets, or Portal's turrets even, but I'm specifically thinking of the Portal 2 turrets, because another video I saw on YouTube one day was, one other thing I saw was, it was about the Portal 2 turrets and how they had essentially a lot of very visual physical detail with regards to the Portal turrets' gun barrels and the ammo dispensers. But the thing was that they weren't actually, they were just very simple meshes with very complicated textures on them. And when you take a look at it in game, it, looks and feels a lot like a Portal turret. It has the physical, mechanical details on it that, when put together, they tend to, work out like that. Okay, I think that... But yeah, that's basically just how a lot of video game meshes kind of work is, they have, you have a very simple mesh that doesn't really need to have complicated geometry to it. So in a lot of cases, you can simplify the geometry and it will oftentimes look a lot better. I'm not quite sure I got all of my sides evened out here, but considering it's an odd 5-sided gear thing to begin with, I'm okay with the head point being slightly different from the others. So, I'm just gonna scale it up a bit more. This is our horizontal, and then I'm gonna duplicate it, RX90, yep, let's pull that out. This is our wing vertical, and now to make sure all of our gear teeth line up still, oop. Okay, moment of truth. Did I get this? Oh. No, because that needs to be a little more like... I feel like those gear teeth need to be longer. But at the same time, I think it works with it being shorter. So yeah, we got our small gears and we got our large gears. Yeah, the limit dissolve trick is really, really handy. The Reishu apartment, when I was first modeling its mesh, when I first was modeling that area, I basically made a really, really complicated big giant mesh with so many vertices. It was just like, this is going to be impossible to UV map afterwards. So I was looking for tricks and tools to simplify it. And yeah, the limited dissolve tool is what is what I saw, and I started experimenting with it, and it just, like that, it just took a really, really complicated mesh, and it really kind of brought it down to a more simpler design. Even when I retriangulated it afterwards, it was still less complicated than it had been originally. Which is really, really handy in an engine like Uru that is that is at least 2 decades old now, if not more, and it, yeah. So yeah, we've got 2 big giant gears, we've got 2 thin gears. It's 11:49. Let's see here. Carl's stream starts at events 13, so that's 1 o'clock. So I've got another hour, at least 2 hours. Okay, I think I am kind. Is there anything else in this big giant mesh of text of concept art that I need to seriously model? I see big giant pipes, I see big giant boxes, I see little valves and gears and things, but I think this is... Yeah, I think this is good. I think this is good enough for the moment. I'm going to save this blend file, and I'm going to jump over to the overflow station, and I'm going to try to import some of these objects into the overflow station for additional structural detailing. Yeah. But yeah, some of these are absurdly huge things that really... I mean, look at the scale of our avatar here. These are massive, massive things, and I'm going to trust that the person who's going to assemble all this later is going to, put it together in a way that, doesn't need to, doesn't need to mess with things too much. Or, I mean, they can scale it however they want to. Right. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go into here, which is one of our airlock chambers. What animations are on you? Just the rotation? Are you parented to anything? No, you're not. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna select... I'm gonna select yeah, I'm just gonna select this stuff for the moment. So that's really all I generically need for this. Okay. So, file, append. We're going to bring in some of our mechanism stuff here and see how this is gonna look. What was the name of that? Assorted mechanical bits. Object. Yay, we don't have too many things here. First things first, I'm going to select our bottle press tube stuff. Okay, there we go. Now we've got it all in here. Oh. No, I missed importing an object. You ended up not parented. Yep. Okay, let me delete. Okay, let's try that again. File, append, bottle press tube, blending ring, extension parent, inner, nozzle, bottle press tube, upper. Okay, I think that should be all of them this time. Yay, nothing is being left behind. Okay. Okay, so this object is going to be lowered down. Okay. I'm gonna roughly see how far this thing needs to be extended by. If I remember right. Nope, that was not it. Yeah, there we go. No, that's still not it. That's... Yeah, it's you that I have to... Yeah, it's you that I have to pull down. Doop. Okay. And I'm realizing that our gear here is missing a surface layer to it. Solid. I'm just gonna have to fill that in real quick, because that's gonna be noticeable. That is indeed going to be noticeable. If I leave that as a gap. So yeah, I'm just gonna fill this in. I don't care if it's going to look good just yet. I'm just still in the rough modeling phase, so what does it matter? Okay. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna bring this up like so. Okay, now I spotted a problem. Yep. This bit is too... meeting point. There we go. I'm gonna pull that inwards like so. I'm gonna pull this in a bit more. Okay. I'm gonna need an extra ring around this, I think. Yeah, I think I'm gonna need an extra ring around the top of this. Oh. Let me go back to this. Okay. I am probably going to need to retexture this whole mixer blade. Probably. That's fine, though. Okay. I'm going to pull that upwards. And then I'm going to select all of these outward faces. Okay, yeah, that should do the trick. Then, yeah, tab. I'm going to select all of those lovely new faces that we just built. All these lovely, lovely faces. We're just going to select them. We're going to select them off to their own object. I'm just gonna remove the animation on it. Okay. So now if we... Really? Really? That should not have removed it from both. But I'm going to disable the animation on it just in case that did have something on it that was linked between them. Okay. But now if I... Okay, that should not actually rotate in the age because I disabled the animation on it. There's no other frames, but it just keeps going. Woo! 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 Okay. Anyway. Okay. So yeah, this should be... Yeah, that should be good for this structure. So now the question is, how many pistons do I create for this? I think I'm going to go with 5 again, because 5 is a good number for this kind of thing. It's going to connect roughly in the middle here. Yeah, in the middle. Duplicate. Actually, 4 is a... Ooh. 4 is a very nice number for that, I think. Scale. Yeah. 4 is a good number for this kind of machinery, I think. Actually, no. It's not. I need to duplicate this. Okay, RZ90. Yeah. There we go. And we have 8 pistons pushing this big giant mixer thing down. And then I'm going to select just these top faces of this ring again. And I'm going to give myself a little extra breathing room for this gear thing to actually work by giving myself that. I'm going to take this down again. Okay. I'm going to select all of these pistons and make sure they are all set to the right. Okay, so I'm going to enable the selection. And I'm going to move to page fan tunnel. And now these are all active and in the right page. I'm just realizing I really should have put a texture on them before I got all duplication happy. Okay. We're gonna do that. And in fact, I probably should also make sure animation is working right. Okay, you don't have anything. Okay. To material. Cube project. Part UV project. That'll do for the moment. Okay, what material is this that it's using? Actually, no, what material is this using? This is mixer support tone. I'm using Arcana Silo Trim. Oh, hello. These need to be moved to their own light group, which is center sides. Which did I set you to? Nothing. What are you set? What are you set to? Pub mixer tunnel shared. Okay. Okay, you are going to be set to mixer tunnel shared. You are going to be set to mixer tunnel shared. You're going to be set to mixer tunnel shared. There's the light. Actually, hold on. Let's set that to a sun. Ooh. Okay, what about that? I only need one mixer tunnel, and I'm gonna dump that energy down to 20, 10, 5. Yeah, I don't need super strong light from there. Okay. Yeah, okay, that'll do. Yeah, that's one light that'll serve both tunnels, and it'll... Yeah, I'm gonna have to work on the lighting more after that. Let's go back to the light. I'm gonna lower that down to just 1 energy. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, so yeah, you are material metals. You are material silo trim. UV mapping needs to be on you. UV mapping. UV map. Just UV map. Okay. UV map. UV map. UV map. Okay. Okay, you are Urca silo trims. Insert tunnel shared. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna set that all to shadeless for the moment. Use smart UV. Actually, honestly, I probably don't even need all those interior. There we go. Smooth shading. There we go. Set that to smooth. Mix. Tunnel shared. Okay. Tab. Select it all. Smart UV project. Yeah, okay. And then I'm just going to select all of those faces again. Mixer. Yep, okay. It's going to be set to smooth. Tab. Select all faces. Smart UV project. There we go. That was not activated or set to the right thing. Okay. Mixer, silo tunnel shared, smooth, tab. Smart UV project. Cube project. Ah. That'll do. Okay. Now then, now I get to do what I was just doing a minute ago, and that is duplicating these. There we go. Duplicate. I'm going to bring these over to here. Oh, not quite where I want them to be there. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. And then duplicate RZ90. RZ90. Okay. Okay. Rotation and scale. Okay. Okay. I think now if I pull blades, raise lower parent, and then I take you, pull blades, raise lower parent. I'm gonna zero that out again. Oop. That got scaled very weirdly. 1, 1, 1. There we go. Don't know what happened there, but let's try location and scale. There we go. Okay, so I'll move that. Okay, good. That should okay. Okay, so I'm going to export this age, and we'll go take a look at our tunnel and see how it looks. How do I get rid of this? How do I get rid of this? And manage to switch user. Really? I can't just delete the message? How do I delete the message? How do I delete the message? I'm just gonna restrict. Yep, did that get rid of it? Nope. How do I get rid of a message? Yeah, how do I get rid of a message? How do I? Nope. How do I get rid of a message? I'm gonna have to ask somebody how I get rid of a message. For the moment, just block. Okay, the block. Did that remove the message? No, it did not. How do I? Mod view. There we go. Mod view. Yeah. No, I don't. Do I? Two actions. Select. Ban. Okay, I think if I go back to my chat view. Did that get rid of it? Message deleted by moderator! Yay! Okay. I figured that out in real time. Okay, yeah, I need to reconfigure that lighting, because now I've got the lighting only affecting in here, and meh. Ooh, that's going in the direction. That's going in a weird animation direction. You know what? It's probably going to be for the best if I remove all the animations on those 2 bits. Look at that. That's not doing the smooth rotation it was doing before. It's doing some sort of back and forth washing tub mixer thing. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Maybe I could work with that, but that's still not what I wanted it to do. We're getting weird lighting everywhere. Anyway, we'll work on lighting more later. But for the moment, let's fly down here and look at this. Ooh, we've got big old pistons. Yay! Big old pistons. And I think I am quite happy with how... Whoosh, whoosh. I'm quite happy with how that looks. Yeah, I'm quite happy with how that's looking. Though, we're getting some weird texture stretches in there where I modified that mesh. But yeah, this whole thing is just temporary textured anyway, so what does it matter? Yeah, those pistons look pretty good, I think. At least in its extended form. Okay. Okay. Apparently that... Okay, I'm gonna have to do something clever then. And, Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to create an empty... Where's your location? Okay. I'm gonna have to say mixer blade raise lower parent. Raise lower interface. Raise 0, 0, 0. Okay. Okay, so okay, so 0, 360, 360. Nope, no, 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 no. I did that wrong. I need that to be the z-axis. That's 360. Now, if I do whoop, 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 whoop. Okay. You need the animation. Okay, you need the... Yeah. Okay, you are not going to have an animation. Yep, object has no animation data. Okay. fan tunnel, plasma object. Animation. Yes, I know it has no animation. I'm gonna rectify that in a moment. Boop. Okay. I'm gonna set this to 1000 frames. Yep. Okay. So location. Okay. I'm gonna go back to 0. I'm gonna raise this all up. Okay. And so now, I'm lucky. This will be auto start loop. Okay. We're gonna play this by ear. Okay, so. Thousand. Yep. I'm just gonna. So if we watch that, yeah, look at that, raising and lowering. Yeah, perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay. Set you back to 0. 1000. I said 1000. Okay. Oop. Yeah, I need to... Yep, that was a screw up on my part. Okay, let's see here. There's nothing else there. Okay, so 1000. Jump back to you. Pull you back to here. Alt I, and then I again. Okay, so now. Oh, that's a lovely animation, I think. Yeah, that's a lovely animation. Yeah, that is a very lovely... Yeah, the spin tool sometimes decides to rotate duplicates of a mesh. Yeah, it's weird. Bit of pun. Just as a reminder, it's not the Guild of Messengers pub, it's the Guild of Messengers pub. Just a bit of punishing from the Prads. Yeah, the spin tool just really does weird things with meshes. Anyway, so I'm gonna... It's now 12:30. I'm gonna call it here for this stream. I'm going to copy and paste these animation values to the other pistons, so they're not clipping. But yeah, so... Yeah, we will copy-paste these animation values to the other pistons. Actually, let me just give a second here. There we go. Yeah, we're going to copy-paste these animation values to all the other pistons off screen, and then the whole thing will hopefully raise and lower. But for the moment, yeah, I'm going to give this an animation. I'm going to give this an animation, and we'll jump into the age again real quick, and we will see how our animation looks in game, and then I'm going to call it for this stream so we can all go to the Guild of Messengers pub for Carl's stream of Ribbon music. Yeah, this is, yeah, so we are creating animations, and we are going to, yeah, this is going to be, this is going to be interesting when it comes time to mirroring everything over. So, there it is, it's moving, it's animating, it's extending. Okay. Why is the actual mixer blade not running? Did I forget to apply an animation to it? I probably forgot to apply an animation to it. Or didn't apply the right setting. Anyway, look at our piston. It's going. It's slowly going. It's slowly extending into the water. And then the others will do the same thing eventually. I think that looks pretty good. Alright, I will stop the stream here. Thanks for watching, everybody, and, I will, see you all next time. Bye.